everyone, welcome to another episode of Whiskey-Rut, Marble Distillery edition. We're here at the Marble Distillery in Carbondale, Colorado. We're going to run through a bunch of the Marble Distillery's whiskeys. Elliot, why don't you introduce yourself?
My name's Elliot. I'm the bar manager here at Marble, and we're gonna taste through some of our whiskeys today.
Awesome.
All right, tell us a little bit about the whiskeys we're going to be tasting today. What's this one?
So this is our blended whiskey. It's a blend of our bourbon, our rye, and our fighting whiskey. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. But basically everything that goes into this bottle is from a cask that's at least 2 years old. We proofed this one down a little bit lower. This is at 84, so it's more of a sipping whiskey, you might say. It's kind of our workhorse. We use it in most of our cocktails behind the bar. It's just a really easy drinking blended whiskey.
Kind of everyday whiskey.
Exactly,
day.
yes.
Now let me ask you real quick, are you guys in any liquor stores in Colorado, outside Colorado? How does your distribution look for that?
We are in liquor stores all over Colorado.
Nice.
Definitely have a good presence down in Denver,
Cool.
and a lot of the mountain towns as well.
Well, let's taste it.
What do you think?
Smells kind of spicy. I pick up a little bit of the rye.
Definitely, yep. Any
there.
spice you're going to get from that. I find a lot of sweetness in that whiskey. But I get a lot of honey in this one. And I think that's a lot from the soft white wheat we're using. We're talking about that kind of sweetening a lot of our spirits. I think with this blended whiskey, that comes through a lot.
You know, tasting it kind of a, vanilla-y, obviously it's a bourbon, and then it ends with kind of that spicy.
That's one of the only ones we do in the little 200 ml flasks, which it's a really nice pocket whiskey.
Oh,
for
there
sure.
you go. Take it out like skiing, hiking, whatever
Exactly,
you want.
yeah. Cool. So the next one we're tasting is our bourbon. This is our oldest spirit we have right now. It's a 4-year bourbon. It's a 4-grain mash bill, corn, wheat, rye, and malted barley. This is my favorite thing we have. It's super smooth. We do volatile aging up there, something to experimenting with, and I think it makes these whiskeys that are on the younger side drink a little bit older, if that makes sense. Wow. So like you taste a 2 or 3 year bourbon normally, and I get like super hot alcohol almost. It needs more time in the barrel. This being a 4-year that went through a lot of that volatile aging where those barrels are expanding and contracting and huge temperature swings, and it's pulling a lot more out from the barrel. I think you can really taste that in the glass with this one.
Yeah, and I heard it's like a give and take when you have that volatile aging because it gives you more flavor, more concentrated flavor, but it does affect your angel share to some degree. And so you lose a lot of whiskey, but you get a better, more flavorful whiskey.
Exactly,
right?
yeah, in a shorter amount of time,
right?
Yeah, which is what we're trying to do.
So with this one, on the nose, I get some kind of flowers, or a little bit of floral on the nose a little bit. On the tongue, it's a little more spice. It hits a little bit harder.
Compared to the last one, like I feel like the oak, like the wood really comes out, and more of like the more like traditional like vanilla and caramel flavors.
Yeah, so that one's at that's at 94 proof. A little higher horsepower, and you're going to get a lot more too. Those floral notes you're getting, probably soft white wheat on those, and the sweetness again, like malted barley in most of our spirits. That's where that backbone of sweetness is coming from on those.
And that white wheat is locally sourced when you can, right?
Yep, locally sourced when we can. A lot of times it's coming from Alamosa, but it's in the valley whenever possible. It's a cool closed loop thing too. You know, feeding the farm animals the spent mash and stuff. It's really they've got a nice system back there for reusing everything.
You created your own ecosystem.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah, that's cool.
All right, so tell us about number 3.
So this is our rye whiskey. This is at 3.5 years right now, a little bit younger than that bourbon. We proofed this to 92, and you're going to get a lot of that rye spice.
Why do you call it Hoover's Revenge?
So Hoover's Revenge, Connie, our head distiller, wanted to name our whiskey line after her beloved dog, rest in peace, Hoover. So Hoover's her dog. Hoover chased a cougar years ago and lost one of his eyes, and so she built this whole story around the whiskey about Hoover getting revenge, and really busy label, which I like. I think it's kind of cool. There's like a bunch of different stories. You can kind of get lost on that label, which, in a good way, I think. A lot of places it's just slap something on. This kind of tells a story, and most of that story is about Hoover and his journey. Talk about the whiskey a little bit too, but yeah, so they named the whole whiskey line after Hoover. The whole line's called Hoover's Revenge, and obviously there's a rye, the bourbon, all the other stuff.
I'll tell you, that's a good rye. It tastes like a rye, like real peppery to me.
Yeah.
It still kind of finishes with that more bourbon-y flavor.
Yeah, I think
mellow sweetness to it.
You have everything kind of working together, and then the finish, on the back, just pepper.
Yeah, again, that volatile aging coming into play. I think with that and the malted barley that we're using in most of the whiskeys, that's kind of going to smooth them out and again make them drink a little younger than they actually, or older than they are.
Right.
Yeah.
It does seem older, especially for a rye. It doesn't have that strong bite to it.
Super hot.
The alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
bite to
fire.
it. Yeah.
Number
all right.
four. Number 4. So I noticed just in the color, this one stands out as being pretty light.
This one is a lot lighter for sure. So this is a younger whiskey. This is a 2-year. We call this fighting whiskey. It's our ode to wild turkey. If you ever had that whiskey
Yeah,
before,
definitely, yeah.
we keep this at 101, so a little higher proof on it. It's made with this grain called triticale, which is a rye wheat hybrid grain that grows really well at altitude. It doesn't strip the soil. It's an old grain. It's from Scotland. It's from there about 300 years ago or so. So we love using that for all those sustainability reasons. You know, we're not harvesting a new crop every year. They're regrowing. Again, we try to use that locally as much as possible, coming from the valley whenever we can, Alamosa otherwise. But it's a really cool grain. And it drinks somewhere in between a bourbon and a rye. It's kind of hard to put your finger on where it is. Being a rye wheat hybrid grain, you kind of get that same translation into the glass. So obviously it's a little bit lighter. It wasn't in the barrel as long.
Right.
Yeah.
It's got like
I was
a
gonna ask
kind of
you
a
that.
honey color.
Yeah.
Yep. But being 101, you would like expect a little bit of that fire.
Oh yeah, because it is a little high octane.
And it's a young age, so you would expect just burn right away.
Yeah, that's smack to the face. It does have. I mean,
It has
you
kind of
can you can tell it's a little higher on the alcohol content.
Okay.
That's why it's a fighting whiskey, right?
So I get a kind of the honey, but also kind of like a grainy, like a hay.
Oh, there you
type
go.
of
Yeah,
smell,
totally.
Oh hey.
So this is a great one. Like we make Sazeracs with this, which are fantastic. So any kind of like spirit forward mixed drink with these is great. With it being a little stronger and a little hotter like that, it's nice to temper it a little bit. I do like sipping this one neat, but it packs a punch for sure.
Yeah. Are these the kind of things we should get on this flavor, or is there anything that we're missing with this?
No, you nailed it for sure. Yeah, like hay in a good way.
Yeah, you kind of get the wood,
Yeah, you get more of the wood, oak.
the barn.
Yeah.
Just
really
a
good
couple
flavor.
drops. Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
probably more closer to 95, 94 now
Yeah.
with a little bit of water in there.
Which I think is kind of where you want to be
Yeah.
to really get everything out of it.
Absolutely.
Cut that alcohol a little bit. That's nice.
Yeah, that's unique, probably because of the type of rye that you're using.
Yeah, and not a lot of places, from what I understand, use that.
Yep, you'll see some places using it in like their mash bill in a smaller amount, like 5%
Smaller.
or 10% or something like that. As opposed to this is, I think this is 60%.
60%.
straight. Yeah.
And that, so for you guys, do you know if they went for it more for flavor, sustainability, combination of both? Because I know that the sustainability with Marble is a high priority as far as the value.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's why they went with this, or is it just, hey, this is something not a lot of people are using? Oh, and this is just the added benefit of the sustainability.
Unique.
Man, this is a lame answer, but I think it's a little bit of everything on that.
There you go. That's all we needed, man.
Honestly,
That's all we needed.
that's kind of the thing with all of the spirits is trying to find that balance between sustainability and flavor and supporting local and all that stuff. And you're not always going to nail it all with every bottle.
Yeah.
But I think they do a really good job of trying to, at least.
Yeah, definitely.
And this one particularly, local, using the sustainable grain that doesn't strip the soil. So this is kind of a win-win.
It's kind of win-win.
Yeah.
That is triticale?
Triticale.
Triticale.
Yep.
Yeah,
Triticale.
first time I've ever heard of it, or I think probably even had a whiskey that I knew had it in there.
And Carrie was saying too, I think Connie found it, like it's been used in like, Cheerios. Cereal, like
Right.
that's the main thing I guess it's used for.
So
Yeah.
what you're saying is you can drink this for breakfast and it's okay.
That's exact. You just put
Is
it
that-
on your Cheerios, and you make more Cheerios.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm saying it's liquid Cheerios.
that's exactly it. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the final. So why is this the last one? Why do we save this one to the end?
So this is a 3-year rye that spent one of those 3 years in a coffee liqueur barrel.
Ooh.
So we make a coffee liqueur here called Moonlight Espresso, and after we make that, we'll take a spent rye barrel that's empty, and the coffee liqueur go in there for about a year. Once that comes out, rye goes back in,
Man.
and so that barrel had a year to kind of pick up some of those coffee and chocolate notes, and then the rye had another year afterwards to pick up some more of that. So I think this is a really fun one. It's not like maybe your typical whiskey drinker's whiskey.
Yeah,
It's kind of
for sure.
almost a flavored whiskey. Like we don't really call it that because
It's almost a craft one at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
in a
totally.
way. Yeah, a craft whiskey.
So I think this one's really cool. This is at 100 proof, so a little bit stronger.
Yeah. Now, really quick, you can only get this bottle here, right?
Yes,
At the
that's
distillery?
only available here at the distillery. Yep. Most of our whiskeys you can get at liquor stores, like we said, throughout Colorado. This is a exclusive one. We do a lot of limited release stuff here, so like single casks that you can only buy here. Like we've got this rye, we've got another cask strength rye that's at like 112, which we can taste in a second if you guys want to.
Yes, please.
So some stronger,
Yes, please.
some stronger ryes that are kind of cool. But yeah, this is only available here.
So that's
interesting.
Off the bat, that's my favorite right away. So on the nose, what I get is a little bit of cherry, a little bit of cocoa, some of the hay.
There's something I can't. I'm smelling that I can't pick it up. I
And
don't know what it is.
there was something else in there too.
Nail polish.
I don't know if
Not
Elliot
that.
knows.
Not what you said.
Not nail
different than
polish.
what you
Get
said.
out of here.
Crunch.
Ooh, that is sweet.
So it's, what I get is like the oak, the chocolate, kind of a cocoa chocolatey kind of taste.
Cocoa Puffs.
Cocoa Puffs, dude. Nice. You guys are just like
Cereal
slanging the cereal.
Yeah,
whiskey.
we work for General Mills actually. Yes.
Secrets out.
As far as like the nose or anything, is there anything that we might be missing?
No, you nailed it. Cherry's that big one that everyone misses. It's
Yeah.
always like chocolate, vanilla, coffee.
Okay.
Once you guys are done, this is a cool one to do a glass sniff on. Like you might do like a porch or something. So
Yeah,
once
yeah.
that's empty, we'll do that, and you can pick up a lot more of those dried fruit notes. I get
Yes.
apricot too.
Yeah.
Like dried fruits, stone fruits, stuff like that, which is like crazy for a whiskey to me. Like this one is my favorite thing to taste people on because of all that stuff. Like
Yeah,
you don't
very
normally get
complex.
that from a whiskey.
It's weird to get a sweet notes at
At 100 proof.
Like a
Cool. So take that
good.
glass and like cup the bottom with one hand,
okay.
and like warm the sides a little bit. Like get it in there. Get it
Oh,
out.
okay.
And then cover the top with the other hand. Yeah. And kind of give about 20 seconds.
Is this
See, I've
something
never
that you
learned
can
this.
do with
Any
every
whiskey?
whiskey you
Absolutely.
have?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
See,
Anything you're tasting.
this is new.
Wines. It's a way to really get that nose, but you're basically starting to evaporate stuff in there with the heat from your hand. So as soon as you take your hand off, you're gonna get like a nice.
All right.
blast.
Am I good to go now?
Yeah, go for it.
Oh yeah. It's more musty.
Maybe that's your hand.
It's like strong caramel and chocolate, like a candy bar.
I almost get more of that cherry stone fruit
Did you-
apricot
yeah.
after I do that cup test.
Black licorice
Nice. That's a good pull.
is like going into like a cherry, then like cocoa powder. I'm gonna say for me, man, this rye is my favorite out of all that we've tasted. All of them are quality whiskeys, but I think the rye is my favorite. What would you say for you?
I mean, I think
If you're
their
my favorite.
flagship.
Yep.
I think their 4-grain is very well done.
Yep.
Especially with the added wheat.
Oh yeah.
But this, man, if you are visiting Carbondale and Marble Distillery, I think you should definitely need to try this because this is so unique.
So Carbondale in Colorado, obviously an awesome distillery. Lots of history in this distillery. The Marble, it's not just a name. There's a lot that goes into this with being like locally sourced, the history of the marble, where it came from within Colorado, how it's been used nationally throughout national monuments. Really, like I'd say this is a diamond in the rough of a distillery. Great place to visit if you guys can get out here.
Well, thanks for joining us for this Marble Distillery edition. If you like the content we're making, please hit the subscribe button. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook. Those will be below. You can also find Marble Distillery on both.
It's just at Marble Distilling.
At Marble Distilling. What's your website?
It's marbledistilling.com.
Marble Distilling.
Yep. And you can buy our
Simple.
stuff online as well at shopmarblespirits.com.
Yeah.
We ship to most states in the country.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Perfect. So you don't have to be local to get something from here. So again, if you like the content we're making, please hit the subscribe button, leave comments below, and as always, get out that rut.